Hello, welcome back to my channel. Did you find your way here okay? Today, we have a bookshelf tour. I've not filmed one of these in over a year now, and I've been getting lots of questions, lots of queries to essentially film a bookshelf tour. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take you through my bookshelves. These are not all of my bookshelves. I have some on the other side of the room, I have some in the other room out there, and as well, these are not all of the books that I own. Not all of my books fit in my tiny apartment, so a lot of them are unfortunately in storage. So if you see any gaps or you don't see certain books that you know I do have, that's because they're not physically with me, but I still own them in some capacity. So without further ado, we're gonna start at the very top. Come with me. Come with me on an adventure. I put these fake nails on before filming and I hate it. I hate it so much. They look so nice, but I hate them. This is a silly angle. All the way up here on this very top shelf. Let me try and get them down for you. These two books, along with the other two that I left up there, which I'll get in a second, are some of my rilke books in translation. Pretty much everything on the top shelf of my bookshelf was gifted to me by various people, companies. These in particular are from Michael. Thank you so much. These are in German, which I would still really like to learn eventually one day how to properly read these guys, but Rilke is one of my favorite poets. You're gonna see him repeated elsewhere in these bookshelves, but these are just absolutely gorgeous. And then the other two up here are some more Rilke pieces. All across my bookshelf, I just have these little twinkly lights. So up here, we have a succulent. Can you see in it? Because I haven't looked in the top of it in ages. It's probably so dead. But then we have two gorgeous editions from SP Books. They are manuscript copies of Shelley's Frankenstein and Milton's Paradise Lost. I'm just now realizing that that one is upside down. They are illustrated, at least Milton's is, and they are so beautiful. They come in like the original handwriting of the authors, and they're just prized possessions. Okay, at the very top up there we have more gorgeous Rilke editions. I should probably film some ASMR while I have the chance with these bad boys. I really just want to rip them off. So I have Sonnets to Orpheus, which is so beautiful. I feel like I need to highlight these more and more and more. One of you wrote such like a lovely, beautiful, oh my god, note in it for me. I just, thank you so much. I adore. And this one also has the German and English on one side. I flipped to You Who Have Held My Feelings So Long, Ancient Sarcophagi. I greet you, whom the happy water of Roman days flows through as a wandering song. I need to reread this. I need to reread this immediately. And this one is such an old copy of the same Sonnets to Orpheus, if this is just gonna focus on the book. There we go. Look at how beautiful. Oh, this is a tome, if I ever saw one. Those two are up on the top as well. And then I just have like this weird Victorian bottle candle that I've never lit because I'm horrified that like it's just gonna explode on me. I found it at the thrift store, so it just stays up there. I'll probably never light it. While we're in this corner of the room anyway, let me show you one of my favorite corners of my bookshelf. These two are some of my absolute favorite spaces on this shelf. I just want to show you these two pieces of art, also lovingly drawn by you guys. So first of all, we have my little carpet monster, Calcifer. I love, it's like a little art of him under the rug, and then it says Carpet Monster. And then we have this beautiful drawn bookmark of Evie playing in the snow. Evie is my family's dog. I miss her so much, but she is so beautiful. Look at how gorgeous this piece is. So those two sit up there lovingly. I feel like I can't use them as bookmarks because I just want to look at them every single day. And then this stack of books right here, they are more Rilke. Oh, so he is probably the author who I own the most of on my shelves. Up there we have stuff like Poems Tonight and this really beautiful Pushkin press edition. I want to find like more Pushkin press editions, but I've never seen these in any bookstore I go into. We have people's different like interpretations of his poetry. This one is Where Silence Reigns. We have Rilke on Love, and then we have more copies of collected poetry, and the complete French poems of Rilke. So that is exciting. So those are all up there. Also up here I have 2 candles. So I have this little wooden one. It's just a tea light. And then I have a mulled wine and clover. This one I got from Chapters. I think it's almost, yeah, it's almost gone. Oh, it smells so good. This one I put on this shelf because it's like a Christmas candle. And these are my winter books. Not all of them because I've now acquired so many. So we have Ember in the Ashes right here by Heather Fawcett. This is a 5-star read for me this year. We have The Nutcracker by Itay Hoffman in this. I like this edition because it's illustrated and I thought it was really cool, but I didn't like the illustration style inside. If I can like show you a full kind of spread. I didn't really enjoy that one. It seemed a little, I don't know, corporate to me. We have Echo North, which I haven't yet read. My favorite young adult book and one of my favorite books of all time, A Castle in the Clouds by Kirsten Gier. I reread this every single year at Christmas. Truly a healing balm to my soul. We have Hidden Sea by Gregory Maguire. This is another retelling of The Nutcracker. I haven't read it. We have Midnight in Everwood, which I was disappointed in, but it is too beautiful to give away, and because it's another retelling of The Nutcracker and a winter book, I just will keep it forever. The Snow Child, Enchanted Sonata is another 5-star read of mine. The Winter Duke, we have Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater, which is the YA book about werewolves, which introduced me to Rilke in the first place when I was a teenager, so eternally grateful to this series. Also look at the cool blue prints. And I actually really enjoy this book. I reread it last year and I still enjoyed it. We have A Winter's Promise, Sky Song, and then this beautiful copy of Frostheart. These 3 I haven't yet read. Now we have the bookshelves proper. They are dusty. I can 100% tell you there will be dust. Ye who enter here, there shall be dust, basically. This first shelf right here, this is a place that really has not changed since probably my very first bookshelf tour, because these are all my Penguin Black Spine classics. And then up here, I have my 2 little Funko Pops. Can I say I don't like Funko Pop, but I will 1000% make an exception for Frankenstein's Creature and The Phantom of the Opera. These were also beautiful gifts from you guys. Thank you so much. They're so freaking cute. This one I'm going to probably cut to a different angle so you can see it a little bit better, but let me just kind of show you my Penguin Black Spine collection a little bit in depth. Oh, I forgot I owned this. Shit. The first one up there is Mary Shelley's Matilda, which is obviously not a very well-known piece from The Mother of Frankenstein, but I can't wait to read this. I totally forgot that I bought this at all. Slipped my mind, and it's so tiny that it just fits back there. It's a dark story of a bereaved man's disturbing passion for his daughter, and it was not published for over a century. So that is Matilda. I'm intrigued. Okay, and then we have a couple translated. So we have Calicane and the Posthumous Memoirs. Love this one to pieces. It's probably due for a reread at this point. And then next up we have Lord Jim. Oh, there's a bookmark in here. I guess I started reading Lord Jim, but I have no memory of this. But there is a bookmark in here, 10 pages in. Only read Heart of Darkness by Conrad, but yeah, I really want to read this. And also, I don't think Lord Jim is the song, but I love Ben Howard. Ben Howard is one of my favorite, if not my favorite artist of all time. He's just been in my life for such a long time. He does a lot of songs, or at least he used to. I'm not really too caught up on Ben Howard these days, but he's very literary. You can tell he really reads books, and a lot of his songs are based on authors or novels, and Joseph Conrad is one of those that he's inspired by. I love his song, Conrad. One of my favorite songs in the whole world. It's just, it does something to my brain. But that is Lord Jim. Okay, we have Dostoevsky's The Idiot, The Lady of the Camellias, In the Land of Time, and then what else is on here? Okay, and then we have big stuff like The Fairy Queen, a few other favorites, The Haunting of Hill House, not so much a favorite, David Copperfield. Look at the scars in this. Does not even come close to matching the scars this book wrought in my brain. We have more Steinbeck, more Tolstoy, lots of Tolstoy that I don't really want to touch again for many a year. We have Fathers and Sons, which I would like to get to very soon. I also love this cover. And then behind my two little men here, we have, what do we got? We got Edith Wharton, read this a while ago, loved it. And then we have some more just like collections, I guess. So Van Gogh's Letters, a saga. I haven't read these 5 yet, or no, well, I guess Beowulf is here. So these are the older Penguins. And then I obviously have Anna Karenina and Emma. I really like to do a reread of Emma because it's been a while. And I actually, the older Penguin editions, they're just so like soft. I can't tell you how soft the pages are, but that is the end of my Penguin collection. Right here in the middle, I guess I should say that these black bookshelves I got from Yisk. They are so terrible. I've just had them for years, and I got them when, like, you know, could not really afford anything else, but whenever I move next, these bad boys are not coming with me, although probably this middle one will, because this one is a really nice bookshelf, very sturdy. This one was just a hand-me-down from my partner's brother, so don't know where it's from, sorry about that. But right here in the middle, we have my Arcturus classics that are just on their side. I have a lot of them, as you can see, and I've read most of them. We'll go through them in a second. But the thing about Arcturus is that at Chapters, they are always on sale. Sometimes it's like 3 books for $10. So I bought a lot of the Arcturus editions when I was like in high school, when I was in my first couple of years of uni, because they were so inexpensive. But I don't like the editions. I really hate them. Even though I think the covers are beautiful, I love the cover design, everything else about it is not good to me. Nothing about this makes me want to keep reading. Like, I love what they do with the spines, with the cover. I think it's beautiful. So we'll just take, I guess, the picture of Dorian Gray, which is the first one on there. It has some random splotch on it. Very symbolic. First of all, it's just like, I don't know. There's no foreword, which is fine, but then it goes right into the text, and the pages, I don't know, the quality, and especially the font. They use this miserable font in every single book. I hate it. I don't know what it is. It feels like I'm reading my own. It's too close to Times New Roman. I think it's kind of what I'm figuring out. It's too close to Times New Roman. If I can, eventually, I'll probably be swapping out all of my Arcturus editions for something else and giving these away, even though I really like how they look. I just don't want to read from them. So we have Picture of Dorian. And the thing is that most of my Arcturus editions are also 5-star reads for me, like Dorian, which I really need to reread. So that just makes me want to get nicer copies of them. So yeah. We have Frankenstein. This one is heavily annotated because I used it for my Frankenstein essay at school. Love Frankenstein, obsessed with it. We'll also reread this endlessly. And then I have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Great Gatsby, Old Curiosity Shop, The Professor, The Woman in White. Haven't read The Woman in White. And then Madame Bovary, more Jackson, Lovecraft, Machiavelli. And then I have 2 hardcover Arcturus. So I have The Bell Jar and Leaves of Grass, both of which I've read. Okay, so up here with the absolutely godly light spilling in, we have the Oxford World Classics collection, which is nice. I love how like both of them just take up an equal bookshelf each. So over here we have just some huge, these 2 are older World Classics editions. Yeah, some religious texts, and then these are also just alphabetical. So we have Austen, Bronte, a big Dickens collection. I've read all of these except I DNF'd Martin Chuzzlewit, but I'm very proud of my Dickens progress so far. I just could not do Martin Chuzzlewit. Dombey and Son is definitely my favorite of these, and also one of my favorite Dickens, I think, of all time, actually. And yeah, obviously Great Expectations is here as well. So then we have Euripides, Hardy, Hume, Huysmans, James, Lewis, Livy, Seneca, Tolstoy, a lot of Tolstoy, and a couple Zola. So we have, my War and Peace, which is one of my most annotated books. Yeah, 5 stars, loved it. Okay, so then, like, I organized my classics by edition for those ones in the beginning, but then after that it just becomes a bloody free-for-all, like still alphabetically. We still have some system of order, but after the editions organizational moments, It's just absolute chaos. I wish it looked better. As you'll see, like I've kind of started to organize non-classics, more like genre fiction, just into size because I think it looks so much better, but I just can't bring myself to do it with my classics, and also because, like, aside from Oxford, Penguin, and Arcturus, none of the editions I have are really remotely cohesive. Like, I pretty much just have singles of random stuff, so that's why it just doesn't look very good in my opinion, but what can you do about it? I'm absolutely not gonna go out of my way to go and drop however much money on like a complete Penguin collection. Hi! Oh, someone just got in here. Oh, someone just woke up. Do you want to help us? Look at how big. He's like as big as my entire torso. He loves being a bad boy, climbing on my shelves and knocking everything over. So the things that you see on my bookshelves, like on the lower shelves, hi sweetie, typically aren't there because of this monster. So like, what do you want to see? Here, right here, we have my modern penguin. Oh, what's that? See, I don't even want to show him that they're here because then he'll know. This little mushroom, little glass mushroom on my shelf that I really love, but he just goes and steals it. The other day I found it in his water dish and he was drowning my mushroom, so I just kind of keep things hidden away, but for the purpose of my bookshelf tour, I'm like, okay, I'll show you my decor. Modern classics, the Penguin Modern Classics. Oh my god, I don't know what it is about these. I always say it, but like so many 5 stars come out of this section. So on top we have another tiny one. It is Legend of the Sleepers. This one I bought in Iceland because I've never seen the little penguins here, in bookstores at least. So I picked this one up there, already read it. Very interesting. First up we have Things Fall Apart. Love. I have not yet read A Clockwork Orange. And then a recent addition is Ice by Anna Kavan. Yeah, so I really want to read The Tunnel. It sounds so intriguing, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. That's another 5-star prediction. Chess, Decline and Fall, The Birds, The Ice Palace. Oh, love this. And Season of Migration to the North, which is another 5-star read. Love this so much. Highly recommend this one. Okay, and then here I've just placed random books that don't really fit, but we have On the Road, Lady Chatterley's Lover, Crucible, and then we have one imposter here, which is not Penguin, and that is T.S. Eliot's The Cocktail Party. It's published by Faber and Faber, but because it like looks exactly like a Penguin Modern Classic, I just shove it in there. This one I read a few years ago because I found it in the world's smallest bookstore, which it definitely is, and it just calls itself that, up north where I sometimes stay at a cottage in the summer. I have a whole video on that place if you want to check it out from a long time ago, but that's where I found this bad guy. This play is extremely disturbing and I would love to read it again now. I think it would be so fun. To start us off, we have Dante's Inferno. I love this thing. I read this for the first time like a couple years ago. Really had a good time. It's so funny. We have some Elizabeth Barrett Browning, and then obviously Austen is here. Bronte is here. We have The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Most of these as well, because they're miscellaneous, like they are thrifted. I used to, and I still do, get a lot of my books thrifted, so they look weird. They're weird. They're weirdos. Then I have a little Agatha Christie collection. Murder on the Orient Express. They Came to Baghdad. I still haven't read this one. We have Midwinter Murders. Finally, my pride and joy, we have this collection of And Then There Were None and a few other of her stories. You guys have been asking me for more I solve like Agatha Christie murder mystery videos, so I do have one story left in here to do, and I will probably do that one with you, but such a beautiful edition. And then There Were None is my favorite Agatha story so far, so that is that one. Finishing up in here, we have Cocteau, Conrad, some more Machado. He is just here chilling. Some of these are not in the right places, I'll tell you that right now. These are not supposed to be here at all. And then, oh, The Brothers. This book destroyed me. I love it. New favorite book of all time. Just obsessed with that. So that kind of closes off this section. Middle section we'll go through quite quickly because it's all Rilke. This is beautiful art This is from Carolyn. I'll leave her Etsy shop down below. She does these on the page authors. You've probably heard of them because they're beautiful, but she gifted me this one, which is Rilke on his Letters to a Young Poet. So you have his handwriting in there. And then here I have some more tea lights. And then this is just Rilke. So I'll leave it if you want to pause on it, but that is pretty much the rest of my Rilke collection that's not in storage. So that's that. This shelf here continues the classics, so pretty standard. This is a little mini calcifer that my mom made me. She painted it, so it has a couple sides. I guess this one's kind of cute. I had it backwards, I guess, but that is that. And then over here I have a couple photos of a stray cat that I just loved when I was a kid, and I don't know, getting calcifer just brought back all of the memories and all of the love for this man, who I hope, like, he got a home eventually, which unfortunately was not with my family because we were allergic at the time, but this is Ozzy, and he just was my best friend, and I really missed him, and I really love him. So his photos are here, so this is kind of the cat stuff. And then this is almost the rest of my classics on this shelf. So we have big boys like The Count of Monte Cristo, which I really want to get to. This is a beautiful edition of Emily Dickinson's poetry. We have F. Scott Fitzgerald's, Gibran, Westwood, Pincher Martin, Lord Byron stuff. What else on here is like really good? I have gotten so much into Hemingway recently. This is a beautiful copy of The Hunchback, and yeah, back there we still have Moby Dick, which I need to read, and this disgusting copy of The Stranger. Now I come down to this shelf where the classics, they end. More sentimental trash that Calcifer likes to trash about, just some pieces of sea glass. We have this like purple one, and then this one, which is in the shape of a heart. These are both from Nova Scotia, so they just sit there until I go back. This little guy in the middle, my boyfriend just got me this recently. He is a little dragon like coming out of his house, and it's so cute. It does have like a little hanger thing, but just for right now it sits kind of like in the middle here with some books. I'd love to get one of those like little book nooks. Some of them are like DIY, or you can get some like very, very small, tiny, detailed pieces, but that's what that kind of reminds me of. The first book on the shelf is this rose copy of The Island of Dr. Moreau, but I really love this book. I love this book so much. Like, it's like a green. It is green. And then we have my Paradise Lost. Love this. This is another 5-star read for me. Some Nietzsche. I have some Orwell. We have some new fave classics, Catcher in the Rye, which I read this year. This cute little Shelley, and then we have more Tolstoy. This one's really beautiful. This is Conspicuous Consumption. This one I also bought in Iceland because, again, I never see these editions here, so that's really beautiful. This cute little book is Oscar Wilde's collection of fairy tales. Look at how beautiful this is. Oh my god. It's stunning. So Wilde is like one of my favorites, so I also have his selected letters. I have the uncensored edition of Picture of Dorian Gray, which should be fun. Haven't got around to that. And then a couple of his plays, which I've read, Lady Windermere, Salome, and then Virginia Woolf. The Virginia Woolf section is growing, you'll probably be pleased to know. I still have only read Mrs. Dalloway, but I'm gonna be starting Orlando today, actually. And then here is kind of where the classics end, so I just have a couple big beautiful books. We have Journey to the West. A lot of these books are just gifts from you guys when I had my P.O. box open, so thank you again, because it's just astounding to me that like I can look at these and be like, wow, there's kind, generous souls out there. I love languages, novels, and books. This one is gorgeous. Look at this, Beauty and the Beast. And then I think we open it up and it gets, oh my god, are you seeing that? Beautiful, beautiful, so beautiful. The pages are sparkly, like, are you, stop, they can't do that, that's illegal, it's too beautiful. This is where my kind of, I don't know, lit fic, I don't know, I guess it's everything that I either don't categorize as like sci-fi, romance, fantasy, whatever it may be, something that I think has like literary value. I mean, everything is literary value, so like, this is just fiction alphabetical. Let's just go with that. The first one here is Leave the World Behind. I really enjoyed this book. We have this Earth of Mankind. These three are high up on my to be read, especially Bunny. I've been wanting to read Bunny for so long. We have some Anita Rabadami, highly recommend Can You Hear the Nightbird Call? And then I think the rest of these are all unread here, if you can get to the end. From Nightboat all the way until The Master and Margarita, which I really want to read. This is a beautiful copy. Would love to get to this soon. Okay, what do we feel about deckled edges? I feel like I want to ask you. I don't like deckled edges. I really don't like them. I really hate deckled edges, but that's a beautiful addition. Okay, so here in the middle, this little guy on my bookshelf is again from Nova Scotia. Just brought it home with me. It's beautiful. Kelsper loves the way it smells. I've like washed them all with soap and water, but Kelsper is obsessed with them. And then in here is just a continuation. So some favorites, obviously Angela Carter. One of the most beautiful Beatimus things I've ever read is The Bloody Chamber. I love House of Leaves. That's another favorite. Like these two favorites of mine of all time. And then what else do I like on here? I read No Longer Human. Wasn't like super enthralled with it. I really want to read If on a Winter's Night. I say this every time. It's getting tiring. I also really want to read Rebecca. Haven't read Rebecca yet. And my dad keeps telling me to read The Name of the Rose. So I should probably get on with that at some point. This shelf has little baby Yoda on it. He's so cute. First book on this shelf is Like Water for Chocolate. The sun is absolutely streaming in on the Kazuo Ishiguros for good reason, but we have stuff like The Woman in Black, A Thousand Splendid Suns, The Hairdresser, and then we have Ishiguro's collection. So I have a lot of his work, but guys, the only one I've read from him still is When We Were Orphans, which I love and I want to reread so badly. I feel like maybe I will be reading some Ishiguro soon. I have some more of these I love the vintage editions. So the summer book, I love this, please read it. Heaven and Hell. I love Heaven and Hell. One of my favorite books from last year. Oh look, it's like the fish is like... we have Kawabata, we have Phantom by Susan Kay, one of my faves. And then over here we have stuff like Burial Rites, A Small Place, The Notebook, Build Your House Around My Body, Beauty is a Wound. I haven't read any of these. I've read A Small Place. I haven't read any of these so far, so hopefully we'll get to those pretty soon, or when I'm 80. You know what? We'll get to them when we get to them. Okay, I've opened the blinds, so we have this absolute cascade of golden hour coming in. But over here we have stuff like Solar Bones, Song of Achilles. We have a bunch of Mishima, so I'll just like go through this pretty slowly so you can like pause on whatever you want to. And then in this darkening corner we have Divine Punishment. I really want to read the Book of Disquiet. I'm just not sure now is really the best time. We have My Interview with the Vampire. I've only read the first one. I gave this book 5 stars last year. I really enjoyed it. And then I have the second one here, the third one, and then we have If We Were Villains, which I didn't really enjoy too much. I feel like now after taking a whole course on Shakespeare, I would get probably a lot more out of it. And then we have Mary's Monster, which I really love. That's all about how Mary Shelley's life really contributed to different aspects of Frankenstein, which is really interesting. In the middle here, I just have this mug that I need to move. Okay, kudos to people who wear long nails or who have really long nails, because I can't do anything. I'm like, yeah, I just don't know how you do it. Again, here is the middle shelf of this one, so just a continuation. Okay, and then this is where the kind of, I guess, general fiction-ish ends. So that is the rest of it, this little section here. And then almost right in the middle of the shelf, we go into romance. I finally have enough romance to make up a little bit of a significant place here. So we have some absolutely beautiful Book of the Month books. So we have Love Theoretically, Yours Truly, The True Love Experiment. I just see it like the height being matching. I really love. And then over here we have like Magnolia Parks, from Luke Love with Love, Twisted Games, and then a couple mass markets. Down here, we hit the fantasy and we also hit the dust. Here's my fantasy. It's a little bit disorganized because this is where like you can see I was really like, you know what, we're gonna prioritize equal height because I just think it looks so much better. Excusez-moi. The first book we have up here is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which I still haven't read. And then we have Seven Citadels. This one is a mystery to me. Okay. Oh my god. Hey. The reflexes. People have told me this is actually really good, but geez, this... You can't knock it on the floor. You throw a stone, it comes back to you. This cover. What is this cover? That's horrifying. Okay. And then we have the... You're beautiful. Why are you so beautiful? My favorite fantasy series, which I need to reread. It got me through such a dark time. The Queen of the Tearling series. We have the Atlas 6, which I still haven't read. I'm not sure if this one is like, if it just got hyped up and maybe it's not going to be good, which is what I'm really worried about, but I've seen people with similar taste to me really enjoy the Atlas 6. Do you think we're going to like it? And then I have the Witcher books. These are really my partner's books, but they're here because I also want to read them. We have Nevernight. We have just red books. The Wolf and the Whale, and then we have the Lord of the Rings series, for example, Oculus Reparo. Then we have Sarah J. Maas here because you guys have been asking me since I did my Shadow Me video to do one pretty much the same but with ACOTAR, the series. So this is brand new, as you can see, never been touched, so that's coming at some point. You just wait for it. Patiently if you can, if not it's okay. And then over here we finally hit young adult. The first one I believe is Passenger by Alexander Bracken, and then we have The Summer I Turned Pretty, and then we have From Little Tokyo with Love. I love this book. I cannot wait till I'm free and I can reread this once school is over. Same thing with Once Upon a Broken Heart. Entwined, I think, is an underrated moment. We should all read Entwined. I think you should read it. It's really good. I've read this a few times. This is a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses. I wish Heather Dixon would come back and write more things. I think she only has one other book out, if I'm not mistaken, but I love this book to bits and pieces. And yeah, I really like it. We have The Raven Boys, which I didn't unhaul specifically because you guys told me not to. We have The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Franken. What in God's name is that? Finally, we have The Bloodspell. Here is my little manga shelf. At least I think most of my manga's here, so we have stuff on the bottom is probably what I'm not going to read at any point soon. So we have Yotsuba, Komi, Can't Communicate. These two were kind of disappointments to me. I did like some aspects. I preferred Komi, but people have said that Komi Can't Communicate just kind of stagnates a little bit. Sailor Moon is an absolute must. I must get to this at some point. I've read volumes 1, 2, 3. Volume 4 of Hunter x Hunter is here because it's the French one. So I'm currently on volume 6 of Hunter x Hunter. I've taken quite a big break from Hunter x Hunter, but I'd love to get back into it. Aria was a 5-star read for me this year. Loved it. And Kitchen Princess is like pretty much a 5-star for me. And then over here we have Fruits Basket, Something's Wrong with Us, and then some light novels. Yeah, I'm really excited to get to a few of these when I actually have time and stuff. So, and then we have some more fantasy books just because they fit. Right here is pretty much just hard cover books. So we have a couple random YA books and then pretty much just hardcover. So I have a lot of really beautiful book of the month books. I have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Stuff like Babel, God's Grave, Priory, which I read years ago. And then these are young adult and it goes into middle grade. Back in this corner, so we have stuff like Wither, a couple older YA series, Alexa, which I really want to read, and then the middle grade stuff. So Dollmaker of Krakow was so good, so good. And then there's stuff like Snow and Rose back there, and Green Gables, Grace of Wild Things, which is more Heather Fawcett. Okay, I switched to my phone for this one because the tripod is not gonna come down to these Shatter Me books. I have a whole video on this if you are interested. And then we have more middle grade in the beautiful fading sun of today. So most of these I've read. I would really like to get to Beasts of Beauty. This is a collection of like kind of spooky fairy tales for kids. And then this was really good. I want to read all the rest in the Aggie Morton series now. Yeah, most of these are just some favorites. I love this series right here. I love The Girl Who Drank the Moon. Here is my little mug of bookmarks in this cute cat mug. And then yeah, I have a whole ASMR video actually on my bookmark collection if you want to check it out. As soon as school ends, I'll probably try and get back on that channel, but it's there if you want it. And then this little stack is like fantasy and I guess, yeah, mostly sci-fi, but a couple fantasy up here. I love William Gibson, as you can see. He's one of my favorites. We have Dune, and back here we have Becky Chambers. The last little brown bookshelf is all sci-fi, so love the series. I absolutely need to continue. Whoa. Oh, we're gonna pretend I'm gonna dust that after this. Okay. We have Asimov, Philip Dick. I love this book. This is a 5-star for me. What else do we have in here? We have some Carl Sagan, and then we eventually start like historical fiction, which is what this last shelf is. And this last shelf that you can hear on Calcifer also goes into nonfiction and poetry. So here's just a little overview. We have some Greek and Roman stuff in here too, and then eventually the nonfiction, and finally the poetry. Alright, so I now have a new camera battery and I ripped all my fake nails off because I was just done. But this is the other side where pretty much all the rest of my books are. Let me move this dying plant out of the way. That, like, okay, to be fair though, it still has shoots, okay? So I am nursing it back to health. I just haven't removed all the dead stuff. So I have these floating shelves up here, and then I recently moved this plant stand just into this corner of my room to save up some space, and I just like having all of my books with me in the same space in the same room. Okay, so let's begin all the way on the top shelf. I have a cute little snail here, Calcifer, as you can see, snapped off his antenna things, great. And then I have a little potion bottle, and then a little wooden cup of bookmarks, and then these are my Penguin modern, oh crap, Penguin, why can't I think of the name of these? Modern library editions, I think? Is this Wuthering Heights? Let me just see. Yes, we have Wuthering Heights, we have Jane Eyre, A Room with a View, some Virginia Woolf, Mark Twain, Dracula, A Tale of Two Cities, which I really desperately want to read, and Oliver Twist, which I have read. And then the shelf below the Penguins are all of my Murakamis. I actually have one more Murakami on my other shelf, but I love this shelf so much. I love how his books look. I'm obsessed with them. So I've recently started reading Murakami in chronological order. So these are all in chronological order of date of publication, I believe, unless they got slightly messed up recently. But we have his first 2 novels, Hear the Wind Sing and Pinball, and then we have A Wild Sheep Chase. So I read these 2 so far, and then I just read Dance 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 because it continues the series. But we have Hard-Boiled Wonderland. I read Norwegian Wood a long time ago. I think this is a collection of short stories. We have the Wind Up Bird Chronicle, which I think is going to be a 5-star upon reread. And then we have like Sputnik Sweetheart, Kafka on the Shore, 2 beautiful copies of After Dark, which is one of my favorites of his, the Mammoth 1Q84, and then his later works. And then right here I have a bunch of really beautiful Studio Ghibli postcards that they're just so beautiful and I love them, so they sit there. The shelf here is my David Mitchell shelf. He's another favorite author. As you can see, Calcifer cannot stand to see the snails not be absolutely mutilated, so he's also kind of ruined the snail, but he's still pretty cute. So these are just in random order, but my favorites are Cloud Atlas. Ghost Written was pretty good. Definitely want to reread this. And then I'm probably most excited for number 9 Dream, but that is that shelf. This shelf is kind of like dark romance, fantasy romance, stuff like that. On top I have little Beanie Axolotl, and then to start it off I have the Fortuna Sworn series by KJ Sutton. Love this so much. I love A Dowry of Blood. Highly recommend this book. Didn't really love Neon Gods, haven't read Neverwhere, haven't read pretty much, wait, what of these have I read actually? Haven't read this. This I want to reread because I got a physical copy of it. And then, yeah, I don't know, I just love, the dark romances are always just beautiful dark covers, so they look really good together. And then here I have the other little dragon man. He's so cute, he's just peeping out of his window. So then coming down to the first, like, just, I don't know, shelf of this plant stand, I have a bunch of manga and manhwa. So some of these I read, some of them I haven't, but that is just another little collection. We have like Oh How to Ride Volume 1, Midnight Secretary Volume 1. I recently read My Gently Raised Beast. This one was really cute. I just have a couple thrifted art pieces of like the moon and Saturn, but this is more I guess kind of classical studies work, so Greek and Roman, Odysseys. We have the Iliad, the Odyssey, the Metamorphoses, yeah, Works and Days, the Aeneid, stuff like that. So that is all there. And then this shelf is my Shakespeare collection. So I'm very proud to tell you I've read all of these, every single one of these. I've read every Shakespeare play I own now, and that was a fun accomplishment this summer, I guess. So absolutely love pretty much all of these, and Macbeth is a new favorite I found recently. So that is where they all sit. Again, miscellaneous editions. I wish they were kind of either all Folgers or all Modern Library. Actually, ideally, I wish they were all large, the large Folgers like Richard III, but that is them. And then this stack right here is mostly middle grade, mostly just books from my childhood. So The Wind in the Willows, Firebringer was a pretty big favorite, Matilda I loved, Little Prince I loved, and then we have some like compendiums, like for example Japanese ghost stories, darker fairy tales. This one we have The Velveteen Rabbit. I love this one so much. And then we have stuff like dragons, heroes, myths, and magic. In the middle here, I have my very battered Harry Potter books, so they all sit there, and then randomly a Sailor Moon Eternals edition with this candle that smells absolutely delightful, a couple of the illustrated editions, and then here I have like a little, I guess, philosophy moment. So we have Lao Tzu, textbook, just like Nietzsche, Freud stuff. Most of this I just use when I'm writing essays a lot of the time, but now that I'm pretty much almost finished up my degree, I'll probably just try to get through the rest of these at some point, because most of these are only half read. And then here is also one of my prized possessions. This is such a gorgeous copy of Phantom of the Opera. Oh my god, eternally grateful to the kind soul who sent me this. It's just absolutely perfect, and it's illustrated. I just scream every time I look at it. Down here, where you can't really see, we have Sartre. I don't know if he'd really approve of being on the bottom, but he kind of holds everything up. And then I have my textbooks, various textbooks, so they are all down there. Finally, out here, I just have the rest of my books, again on floating shelves, with a little money tree next to like Kelsifer's stuff. But I have a couple Game of Thrones books, and then these two shelves are where I keep all of my Latin American lit, because I love it so much. I love having it a little bit separated. A lot of these are like 5-star reads for me, so I just keep them all together. Oh, hello. Have a large, well actually it's kind of split up, but we have a larger Gabriel Garcia Marquez section. This is beautiful. We have Caption of the Sleepers, which I read recently, stuff like Ocampo, They're not really organized anymore in any particular fashion because I've just taken stuff out of here so frequently. I had a course on Latin American lit this summer, so everything is just kind of mangled. But we have like the president. This is a 5-star. This is a 5-star for sure. Up here I have my 2 Eye of the World books. I've only read the first one. I don't know when I'm ever gonna get to the second one, honestly. And then this completes the rest of the collection. So have different stuff on here. I really want to read Earth Eater. I've been kind of slowly trying to work my way through this collection. And then, here's my favorite book that I probably own of all time. It's here. He's here. And then some more from that author. Oh, and then I randomly have these fantasy books which didn't fit anywhere else. So these are just kind of here closing off this section. But that is the end of my books. I think that finally covers all of my books. I want to say thank you so much for watching. This is so fun to always like do an updated bookshelf tour with you guys because it's been a while, and just to kind of show you what has changed on my shelves, what's new. I'm very excited to just continue working through all the books and like reading them with you guys. And yeah, so if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I'm pretty sure it was very long. Please leave me the biggest stack of books emoji that you can possibly find. But until my next video, thank you so much for watching, and I love you guys so much. Ciao.